afụbeghị n'ụwa. Mekwa n'obodo ahụ, n'obodo ji a na-akpọ obodo ụmụ anụmanụ bụ Nigeria. Oge erukwananụ ka onye anaghị anawa na-akwa ya. Mezikwanụ ka okwu ọnụ nwa odibo ukwu ka ọ bịazuo na mmezu. Na Somalia ya abụọ na eze Enugwe na-ewere Mazi Iyke kọmpere Nigeria. Mezikwanụ ka ọ bịazuo na mmezu. Mekwanụ obodo ahụ na-eti aka na-agba mbọ ka zuo ahụ ka a ghara ịgbake ka ụmụ ghara ịnọ. Ka nke na-eme n'obodo ndị ahụ. Ka ihe na-eme n'obodo zoo mere n'obodo ahụ more than 20 times. Ka obodo ahụ gbakekwanụ. Ka ihe mgbu ha ghara ibi ebi. Chọkwa ndị ire ndị obodo ahụ ka ha na ha nụrụ ọgụ. Tinye ọgbaghara n'ime etiti ha maka ikwutusi ike na alaeze gị ga-abịa n'ime ụwa ha Biafra ga-abịarịrị. Maka anyị kwuchakwuo na ọ bụ na Biafra bịa anyị abụzikwa na ihe eme exist mana anyị ma na-edo. Anyị ma niile eme exist. Ya ka anyị ji were anyị ọgụ n'ụbọchị nke taata bịa na-enyekwara anyị ihe niile nke anyị ga-ekwu. Chenwekwanụ gbapụtazikwanụ ihe odibo gị ka anyị nabazikwanụ n'oge ruo n'oge anyị ga-ana wee gafee ego ofufe. Rụọ ọrụ niile nsọ nke anyị kwere na nkwa. Fee ihe n'ụtụtụ ihe n'abalị. Jaa gị mma. Nke mbụ ụwa ga-eji wee ma na ngụnwa bụ chi na ọ dịghị chi ọzọ na ana ahụ e nyere anyị bụ ana Biafra na ọba ana gị bụ Chukwu Okike abịa. Ọ dịghị chi ọzọ bụ na ya na-azọ ya azọ ọsọsọ ngụnwa bụ onye nwe ana ahụ. Anyị na-ayọ gị duwe anyị chebe anyị. Mekwanụ ndị ire anyị ekwekwanụ ka ha zuo ike. Chịkwa ha. Ekwekwanụ ka ha mmiri mmiri tọrọ iko anụ. Ha bute mmiri ka ọ dị ka ọ bụrụ aja. Ha kụrụ mmiri ka ọ rụọ ka ọ bụrụ okwute. N'ime ha na-eku ka ọ bụrụ ha okwu na ụka. Ka ụbọchị eku ụbọchị obi ụbọchị afọ ka ihe mgbu ha na-abawanye mgba ụtụtụ ehihie abalị. Otu anyị si wee nwee ntụkwasị obi na ị ga-emere anyị na otu anyị si wee n'ụbọchị nke taata wee na ya n'afọ gị bụ Chukwu Okike abịa ma wee na-asị ise. Biafrans, I have a few things. I will start from here with what is happening in the court case, the verdict that Binta Iyke delivered on the 15th. That his court has no right to look into forgery amendment of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, the government led by Attorney General called Malami. It has become a childish. It has become a laughing stock. You hold someone in detention, concerning the further detention for the past 15 months or more. This is as somebody said, this is the creation or this is the result of a quota system. In court of law, before when you file your application, you have included everything. You don't go there make amendment. For you to make amendment, you have to seek for court. And then write for court. For court has to permit that. At the last minute, you just make amendment and then bring it to the court. You didn't even submit the copy to the defendant. And then you come to the court and then command the judge, Binta Iyke, to do as you people wish. Everything has time. We all know your game. Your game is to keep on holding in delay tactics. And then keep on funneling money to those you are using to destabilize IPOB. Because you thought that by now you would have scattered us. But you've forgotten that the more you try to divide us, the more we unite. The more the silent ones that doesn't want to affiliate with IPOB will come up and join us. And the more you keep on funneling money to those, the criminality, the infiltrators you are using to destabilize us, hoping that you will achieve nothing. I mean, you will achieve a result, but we promise you, you are going to achieve nothing, which you know already. But messed up because you can't control yourself. You are crying every second. Oh, has these people won? Yes, of course. No nation defeat ideology. That is well known. The power that are being in this earth, all of them combined together, their might. They were unable to defeat Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. After 20 years, they ran away. To consider that country you say you called Nigeria, that nothing, we share nothing in common. You people came from Sahel, and then the owners of Nigeria sold their birthright to you guys. And people from the elite from the southeast just come to prostitute to appease and to please you people. And say, well, take me and use me and do whatever you wish. But promise me you'll be giving me the crumb that is falling from the table. And the master said, yes, I will be making sure that you get the crumbs. And then they take over. Drilling the oil, polluting our land, depopulating us, massacring our youths, harvesting the organs. They will come and cut the young people, men and women, tie their hands in their back, cover their eyes and bring out their knife and start cutting them while they are alive, harvesting their organs. And you hope and you wish that that country will be one. It will never. We have nothing in common. We are not brothers. We are not sisters. We are not related. Right from time immemorial. What brought us together was this man from Scotland called Fred Lucard. And by the blessing of the British Empire, they amalgamated us. Without that, we share no history. We don't speak the same language. We do not share any cultural similarity. We don't look alike. We don't eat the same food. We don't share anything in faith at all. We are just completely opposite of each other. Then I ask, what on earth complain? You get killed, butchered, and no one will dare talk about it. This has been going on, and IPB has risen and said, it's not going to happen anymore because we don't share anything together, and Biafra is our destination. You people have tried so much and spend millions and millions of dollars to get infiltrators to make sure that they destabilize the IPOB. The more you try, the more you fail. It doesn't matter how many of you, it doesn't matter how many groups that went and formed a Biafra government in exile. It doesn't matter number of people that you formed that say, I'm the disciple of Mazi Iyke, autopilot, it doesn't matter. One good thing is all of you have congregated in one corner and we know who you are. And it's our duty, Bible said that we gather, and it's our duty to make sure we scatter them. Because they are like a cancer. You never allow it to spread. When you see the cancer, you cut it off. Like I said here previously, many time ago, that our attitude Our approach for Biafran restoration in our land is regarding these infiltrators and all of them that are fighting against the coming of Biafra or try to undermine IPOB for bringing peace and security in our land. We shall adopt the method of what Brony Empire, Kanu Empire, did to Fulani. When the Fulani came to teach the Hausa Empire the Quran, and then from there they brainwashed them that their leader is corrupt. Hausa people kill their leaders and hand power over to the Fulanis. When the Fulani approached the Kanu Empire to do the same thing, Shehu Brony knows better and so know their history and fight them every inch of the way. That is why you never have emir in the Brony. And that is why they make sure Boko Haram station there to destroy Brony. We will never allow them to have a footprint in our land. Anywhere they gather, we make sure we expose them. We have inquiry line. Because those people they're already bringing a havoc in our land. Insecurity, killings. They are here to destroy us. They are here to slow the coming of Biafra. They are here to do everything. The same method they did to South Africa during the apartheid, South African apartheid. ANC is fighting, Nkata is there, Zulu is there. They keep on, the West keep on, the enemy of South Africa keep on pumping money to all this black community. They are killing themselves. The same method they brought in our land, thinking that we are going to buy it. Forming all these mushroom groups. Government in Ezra, there are 5 people, 3 people in their bedroom. Therefore, government in Ezra. One said it's Mazi Iyke disciples. All these people came to divide, to split the land. But we know better. Like our leader said, before we started this Biafran restoration, he studied our people, he studied where we fell, and we make sure we are not making that mistake. Because we know average Igbo man mentality. He or she want to be the head. He want to lead. Why is it you? Let us pull him down. Why is it you? Why not me? Instead of collective effort for us to achieve what we are looking for, we choose to pull the person down. But go and do it, you will not. Allow those that do it to do it, no. IPOB. When IPOB said we are going to close tomorrow, everywhere compliance, they do not like it. They despise it. That is why they are doing everything possible to make sure they divide us. If you do not know it. That is why they are pumping in money, trying to use the method of Gowon said after the war. Had I known that Igbo men love money, we wouldn't have fought the war. I would have used money to destroy, to destabilize them. That is exactly what they are doing in IPOB, thinking that it will work. IPOB has many pillars. If one pillar gets rotten, it gets cut off. And then dig another foundation and bring it up. Before in the morning, before they're done, nothing is like nothing happens. That is why IPOB is incorruptible. You can try, but the guarantee is that you will fail. Just like all of you have failed since the kidnapped our leader since 27th of June 2021. Many have come, many have gone. Many have paid heavily. And the same thing going back to, I'm going back again to criminality. Criminality is not part of IPOB, and it will never be. And then doesn't you, when you go to hell. Mazi Nnamdi do not send you. Mazi Nnamdi do not tell anyone to go and do anything. If Mazi Nnamdi wants to speak, Mazi Nnamdi has his the institution that is built, that is does. He speaks through does. If anybody from his family telling you Mazi Nnamdi said this, no, that person is a criminal. I repeat, no, that person is a criminal. All they are doing is using Mazi Nnamdi to say Mazi Nnamdi do this, Mazi Nnamdi tell us to do that. To make sure they are holding him so that they will not release him, using his name to go and commit atrocity, thinking that we do not know that we are daft. We know better. That is why we are laying everything bare. That is one thing we learned from our leader. We watch our dirty learning in public. That is why he said, if human IPOB is whiter than white. And when evil people are planning, our duty is to make sure we expose them and scatter that their plan. That is why we come all the way on this radio and tell you exactly how it is. We must go into farming if we want to survive. As I said in previous broadcasts, you will have your money, but you wouldn't find any food. You will not see any food to buy. Maybe it can be both. You don't have money, you don't have food. Who to blame? You blame yourself. The same thing we said here. Go and change your money to foreign currency. The more you leave it in Naira, Naira is getting devalued every day. The more you become poorer. Only the wisdom, the wise ones will listen and follow the instruction. Only the foolish one will dwell in it and say, Kamfunana. That is the own cup of tea. The same thing, we must go into agriculture and cultivate what we are going to eat. Because hunger is coming. I will stop here. I will hand the mic to my colleague, Mazi Iyke. There, I yield to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mazi Former. Of course, I'm here. And I would like to thank all the audience, Biafrans all over the world, our Wednesday audience, those who spend this night together with us to reflect on the struggle. Tonight, as I welcome you, I have been going through the updates of our honorable legal backbone of the struggle, Mazi Iyke, who is the director's lawyer and IPOB lead counsel. Who is based on specifically, explicitly wrote that our leader, Mazi Nnamdi, is not happy with people who hide under IPOB to perpetuate crime, criminality in our land. People who call him disciple on their lips, just discipleship based on what they can get. But secretly, they are causing havoc. In fact, secretly they are working to make sure that he's not a free man. I will read the 4 creeds that our director through the lawyer has made known to us. And I mean, these are not new realization for everybody who has been part of IPOB for a while. The because these form the ethics of our struggle. Anybody, I quote the lawyer, anybody who is our leader's follower, who is the follower of Mazi Iyke, anybody called to liberate our people should be fully aware of Mazi Iyke's 4 creeds, which are: number 1, you must be without fear before your enemies. Now, our people, I often say that is this struggle, you must come with your senses, you must come with your intellect, not the emotion. If you come with only emotion, you'll be carried away. If you come with the power of intellect, you'll be able to understand where to stand. You'll be able to see through the light of reason. Someone jumps out from nowhere and says, I am a disciple of your master. And then you say, oh, if you're a disciple of my master, then you are my master. So yeah, that's right. I am a disciple of your master. Therefore, I abandon my master, I'll follow you. That's illogical. But that's illogicality that some of you have been living all this while. The first creed says you must be without fear before your enemies. And then he goes, I am the disciple. And in his absence, I am the master. And you say to him, you are the master, I will follow you. You abandon everything because he tries to speak like your master would. He tries to say the words that our director would say. He tries to give order in the ways that our director would. But he fails to do that. He fails to be guided by the principles of the structure in a way director would never do. And that's the big difference. Being without fear before your enemies does not just mean staying somewhere in Europe and giving order and causing people to die in Biafra land. It does not mean going on live, Facebook live, to condemn the struggle. The very struggle that has held this, the very structure that has held this struggle, it does not mean forming criminal gangs to kill innocent people. Because that is why the second creed says you must also speak the truth always, even if it leads to your death. There has been several inconsistencies with those who claim to be disciples of our leader. But the problem is, you guys, some of you guys that follow him, you are brainwashed, you do not reason. So you cannot see that. Because your following, your discipleship is based on emotion. And you don't do freedom fighting by emotion. You engage in freedom fighting with your senses. I am this person and this person is me. And suddenly he runs away from that, he denies that. Everything he says he denies. He is a champion of deception. But would you identify that? No. Because you're not guided by reason, by the power of reason. You've let the emotions, the brainwashing, the indoctrination to get hold of you. Because otherwise you wouldn't be able to discern between truth told by someone who sincerely engaged in the struggle, who sincerely seeking to free you from the bondage you're living in, sincerely seeking to make life better for our people, to make major contribution in the struggle. Therefore, you are working, or you will working, or you let yourself be guided by someone who does not operate on the basis of the creed that guides the struggle, the creed that guides our leader, Mazi Iyke. Creed number 2, we must speak the truth always. This struggle is based on truth. Truth is our bullet. It has always been. The foundation of IPOB is truth. Our director said, I will never shoot a gun, but I will destroy Nigeria through the power of truth. The truth is the bullet. The truth speaking symbolically on the microphone in his small room in London has brought Nigeria to ruins. But suddenly, the agent of Satan has tried to hijack, agent of Nigeria, tried to hijack the struggle, tried to destroy IPOB from within. Because they know if they work from outside, they probably will not have any impact on the organizational structures of IPOB. Then what did they do? They found somebody, they got somebody to operate from within IPOB, to pretend that he belongs, to pretend that he is a follower, to pretend that he is repented, to pretend that he is called to the struggle. Over time, he has shown that he's not called to the struggle. He has demonstrated sufficiently that he is agent of division, sowing seed of discord, sowing seeds of infighting and of divisiveness. But would you see this? No, because you are not speaking the truth. Why are you not speaking the truth, and why can't you identify the truth that guides the struggle anymore? Because you've let emotion instead of reason guide you, and so your sense of judgment has been compromised. And so, just as you cannot, you could no longer, without fear, identify your enemy and attack your enemy, which is what creed number 1 says. You have instead identified your own brothers and sisters in the struggle. Your fellow Biafrans have become your enemy. You've seen them as enemy instead of your brothers and sisters. And instead of attacking you, directing your sword to your enemy, you've turned your sword towards yourself, and you are so determined to tear apart, to tear down the armaments of the struggle that holds the greatest future for your own people, by killing your people in their nature and in their situation of defenselessness. Creed number 1, most of you, some of you, have failed. The creed number 2, some of you also have failed because you've abandoned number 2, some of you also have failed because you've abandoned involved in any form of criminality is not a child of God. We remember what IPOB we call ourselves from time immemorial. That's what IPOB we call ourselves. I remember protests in Aba 2015, 16, 17. Chineke. I remember protests when IPOB members walked from Aba to Port Harcourt, from Port Harcourt down to Udo, to Onitsha, to Opiweke, to Enugu, the whole Biafra land, to Igbocha, demonstrating, united. I remember when one night our director was broadcasting. He was broadcasting as usual, giving the updates on the protest and the rally that was going on in Biafra land in these early years. And then it was announced, somebody announced, called Radio Biafra and said his friend just lost his phone. Somebody has stolen his phone. One of the participants in the rally had lost the phone. And instantly, the director said that phone must be found immediately, because there should not be any form of criminality. That should not be heard even among the children of God. From the beginning, he has always identified us, designated IPOB members, as children of God. So this this sort of criminality, this level of criminality, this sort of behavior is not worthy of the children of God. That was what director said. And director was still on air when somebody called and said that phone has been returned. That phone was found. The person that stole that phone brought it right back. During this, IPOB members, when they move in their rallies, the villages they come, the villages they walk past, give them food, give them water. Village members provided solidarity, not just the solidarity of, solidarity of words, solidarities that just we are, we support what you guys are doing. No. They demonstrated their solidarity by provision of food, water, and all the material needs, and the encouragement that these all IPOB members. That's when we called ourselves hardcore. If you're IPOB member, you have to be hardcore IPOB members. Now, these days, some people say they're IPOB autopilot. What are you talking about? There is no type of IPOB member. You are either IPOB, hardcore IPOB, or you are not. You either follow the same creed that has guided our leader, has guided the struggle, or you are not. You're not called to the struggle. Creed number 3, you must defend the weak. Even the poor, the weak, identified in the marching of IPOB, hope that liberation, our liberation as a people, is near. And therefore, they supply them water, supply them food, not because they have in abundance, but it was the same spirit that guided our people during the Biafran war. Anywhere you see a Biafran, is your brother and your sister. We shared what we have. We had nothing, but we shared what we have. We supported each other. That is the spirit of Biafra. During early years, before criminal came in, this was found. That is the spirit of struggle, defending the poor. places where IPOB members were, there was nothing like criminality. People had their phones, people had their money, people shared what they had. People protected and defended the defenseless. Therefore, our director is right when he says anybody involved in any form of criminality is not a child of God, is not a hardcore IPOB member, is not part of this holy family of IPOB. Anyone using the name of the ESN to commit crime should know that they are working against the spirit of the struggle and against myself, against the freedom of myself. That's our director saying. Today, some criminals in Biafra land are beneficiaries of fundraisings coordinated in America and other parts of Europe. Fundraisings that are designed to go to those, to well-known criminal gangs that are killing poor people, that are killing the weak, that are tormenting the lives of our people. As I speak to you today, the town where I come from, everybody is panicking. Villagers, poor people are being terrorized as they continue to witness the unending criminal activities of these people funded by some criminals in America. And arch-deceiver, I call him arch-deceiver in Finland. Director says the creed was put in place to put an end to all forms of criminality in our land. IPOB Chineke. Who remembers that? Were you part of those once called Chineke as a member of IPOB? If you were part of the IPOB that was called Chineke, then what are you doing? What are you doing? That is why the final creed as director puts it, the final creed says, "Be upright, that God may love thee. Be upright, that God may love thee." If you are IPOB, you are taken to be Chineke, part of this holy family. IPOB, one family. You see, these criminals hiding under ESN and IPOB have nothing to do with us other than to cause confusion, other than to destroy this movement, which they will never be able to. You can't destroy IPOB. Therefore, our says, this is all IPOB is about, to serve God, to defend our land and our people, and demand for our inalienable rights. Inalienable rights means the rights that were given to us by virtue of us being human beings. In other words, our fundamental human rights, they are inalienable. They cannot be taken away from us. That is what we are fighting. You cannot be fighting for our own rights, the rights of our people to live, and at the same time killing these people you claim you are fighting for. It is illogical, it's contradictory, and above all, it is not the way we should be living, by the basis of our culture and spirituality, by the basis of the ethics and the principles You are part of these criminals. Because when we say criminality back home, all as Aka back home, those people, if there is no group of people from outside Biafra land that are funding these people, if there is no source that fund that is coming to these people, criminality will not continue. But some of you that are living in America, you benefit from this. Therefore, you call for fundraising and then divide the proceeds of this fundraising, the fund that are raised, you divide and take some and put in your pocket. And then we send some to these people to continue to kill our grandparents, our parents, our brothers and sisters. People are dying because of your actions. Repent. That's all I have to say to you. Listen to these words of our director. Listen to those words and let them call you to repentance. Because this is not a way of our life. It's not our way of life, sorry. And it's against the ethics of this struggle. I will stop here and invite Mazi Iyke question, please, if you can. Mazi Iyke, are you here? Alright, I'm going to invite Mazi Silas. Mazi Silas, are you here?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Sorry. Just like we always do, we really appreciate everyone that takes time to listen to our broadcast. And like we would always say, we are not saying this because we are wiser or more informed or in a better position to talk to people on radio, but because we have listened to the master and we have had a cursory look on our lives, and we've realized the need to follow suit. When Yeshua was on earth and he had his disciples, after a while, these were ordinary men, but they caught the vision that Yeshua came to bring to the earth. They realized and understood the impact, the need to change, to bring change to their world. So also in this our time, we've realized that Biafra is the only hope to salvage the Easterners, to save us from the debacle called Nigeria. That is why we are doing this. That is why we spend time to talk to our people, to enlighten our people and make them understand the need to change their ways. Like our leader would say, Biafra is our religion, and here on Radio Biafra is where we worship. We worship because this is where we learn and relearn and put to work what we've learned. This journey was never easy. This journey was to bring us to the place where we can stay and say, this is how it started, and this is why we are free today. Now, I wouldn't want to take much time tonight. The critical
is very important is for us to understand that the ways that we've taken is not bringing us the expected end. Today, people are shouting obedient, obedient, obedient. In the years past, they also shouted things of that. They went out on the street hoping to bring a change, but it wasn't sustained. Now, this is the blueprint for our freedom, the emancipation of our people from all of the problems that has beset us as a race, as a people, as a group, as a nation. We've been on this journey for more than 60 years. People have died. A couple of weeks ago, we lost our dear Mazi Iyke. He is a veteran in this struggle. And so many people are still dying. So many people are still sacrificing their lives for this. They are doing this for the betterment of the generations to come. They are involved actively in this quest for freedom. So not really so that they will enjoy it, but for the fact that the generations to come will look back and say, our heroes fought for our freedom. So when we come here on Radio Biafra, we tell you about this. All we are asking of you is to sit back, ask yourself critical questions, ask yourself the important things of life, and if it's not adding up, then you have to look around and do the right thing. Because this is the way to go. This is the way to bring freedom to a people. This is the way to make sure that we have the promises of a free nation in our lifetime. If people don't go the right way, if people don't make necessary changes, we keep going around and around and around in circles, and at the end, our aim for total liberation were actually because of the struggle. People who paid the ultimate price for freedom. People who slept in jail for years, away from family, away from friends. People who are exiled in another man's land. People who on a daily basis are contributing to this struggle. And at the end, it's defeated by those who they were working for. It is a shame. It is a shame. illegally detained for more than 18 months now. Illegally detained. And so many people who he is sitting there working for the betterment of their lives, of their children, so that their children can go to school, so that they can have work, so that they can live like human beings, are not even appreciating it. Rather, they are involving in criminal activities, in gossip, in actions and inactions that are inimical to the purpose of Mazi Nnamdi. It is a shame. This is why we come on radio. This is why you have broadcasters who spend time and time again to research, to talk to you. And at the end, it feels like our people are truly lost. But we believe in the words our leader said. He said, Biafra will come. At the end, Biafra will come. This is our solace. This is our comfort. So if you're listening to us tonight, I want you to please ask yourself the question, do I have a future? What is abruptly halting the progress of my life? Do you have a future in Nigeria? The answer is no. The next question is, why do I not have a future in Nigeria? For me, I asked myself that same question, and I realized that the answer is, I am structured to fail in Nigeria. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter how much effort I put into it. It doesn't matter how prayerful or spiritual or good I am. I am designed to fail. It's just like a game. It's just like an application. That is why you have so many applications. You cannot use a Microsoft Word to do Corel Draw or to do AutoCAD. Why? Because it is not designed to do that. You can scribble and write what you want to write there with the tools available, but it will not work because it is designed to use alphabets and letters. is structured to be a slave. Today, compare the qualities of P2B, compare the qualities and the education of P2B to all the other aspirants. He is way better than them. But guess what? He will fail. He will rather be a stooge in their hands. Why? Because he is structured to be a slave. He is structured to be subjugated and subhuman to the other ones. In the East, you cannot vote if you don't have accreditation. But in the North, you have 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds voting, and nothing is happening to them. That is the structure. That is the design. You cannot get into the unity school. Up north, they don't need to try to get into the unity school. You cannot do your businesses. You cannot import goods and bring it in. But up north, they convey and do whatever they want with no fear. That is the structure. This is why you need to extricate yourself. Take yourself away from the structure and the design that has been made for your perpetual subjugation. You have to remove yourself from that structure. You need to come home. Ndị be anyị sị na a naghị ahapụ ebe a na-echi ọzọ jebe ebe a na-alụ ọgwụ. You go where you are celebrated, because that is what brings out the human in you, the worth in you. This is the mission of IPOB, to restore the dignity of our people so that you can excel. A ceiling has been placed over the Biafrans, over the Easterners, that they cannot grow beyond a certain level. Yes, an invisible ceiling has been placed over you guys, be it in academics, be it in politics, in economy, in environmental development. It's been placed. Look at the railway. It's been constructed in all other parts of the country, but in your states, no whatsoever. None. Zilch. Look at the refineries. You produce the oil, but you do not have a working refinery in the is stationed at your backyard, but it is useless. It makes you no money. It brings in no goods to you. It is just an ocean at your backyard. Look and have a contrary look at your situation. This is the only time you will realize why we keep saying these things. This is when you will understand the idea of Mazi Iyke when he's on radio crying about the menace happening to his people. And if you keep folding your hands to do nothing, then you are the bigger part of the problem. I want to ask you a question tonight. You have 10 people in your house and you are going for, let me say, a wrestling match with another family, and you got there. You had 10 people. 7 people were sitting down, folding their hands and doing nothing, while the other 10 family were wrestling 3 of you. Please, who do you consider the enemy? The family you are wrestling with, or the members of your own family who never participated in the wrestling competition? For me, the enemy is the member of my family who we called out to go in for a competition. He's seeing 10 people against 3 of us, and he's folding his hands and looking and saying, it does not concern me. They are my enemy, not even the family I'm wrestling with. That is exactly what you guys are doing. This fight is for you, for your good, but you are doing nothing to sustain it, to win it. You are rather helping the enemy against your own family. Do not think that not doing anything is a part of this. Rather understand that this is what you need to do to preserve your life and that of your next generation. I will stop here for now. Thank you, Mazi. And Mazi's highlights, please. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mazi Iyke. Thanks for a wonderful contribution. I'd like to call on Mazi Silas to please continue from where Mazi Iyke Professor has stopped. Mazi, are you here? Over to you. Can I get Mazi Iyke to please continue first? Hello, Mazi Iyke. All right. I think Mazi is having issues with his phone connectivity.
All right, thank you very much for your broadcast today. Let me see. All right, I'll be with you guys again next week, God's willing. This is Radio Biafra USA 2. We just wrapped up with the Australians. They are out of the way right now. Let me see what time I have. All right, for my listeners, if you are willing to make any call, you can come in and say whatever you want to say in reference to what they said if you were listening. And the lines are open for you here at 646-920-4541, 845-344-7984, 929-406-9953. We are resolute, we are determined. No matter what they do, no matter how much they try, we are not going to give up. We are relentless, and our leader has taught us to be consistent, and that consistency is what makes us Umuchineke. We are here, they are there, they are struggling, they are changing charges left, right, and center. And I saw something that somebody tweeted, I don't know how, unverified actually, saying that the British High Court or something is going to listen to the case of the extraordinary rendition today, trying to prove whether the British people or the government, the former Prime Minister, was right in ignoring what they said about our leader. So that I have not been able to verify it, but as time goes on, maybe somebody's going to call us in and give us more information on that. This is Radio Biafra. Stay tuned.
The supreme leader of indigenous people of Biafra is Mazi Iyke, Mazi Nnamdi. One cannot be two. Sunlight production. Show face on the microphone. Shalom Ibrahim. Shalom Umuchineke. We are getting there. It's a matter of time. Shalom. Bosom. You know me say I go say my life for you, Nigeria. Bosom. You know me say I don't know myself again. Hey, the love I have for Biafra has take over my heart. It's burning like fire. Biafra is my heart desire. I want her like Messiah. Nnamdi Kanu is Messiah. My love, oh, I'm ready to do anything for you, my love. I'm ready to do everything for you, my love. I will make you my contact. I will make you my cashier. Just be patient, my love. Oh, oh, oh. Be patient, my love. Oh, be patient, my dear. Patient, never relent. Just remain resolute, you. Biafra, they come. I want to go full. I go package for you. I go manage your baby. Be patient, my love. Biafra is the hope. Be patient, never relent. Biafra is the hope. Biafra, they come. I want to go full. I go package forever. I go manage your baby. Bosom. A lot of people could not pay their aspirin again in Nigeria. Bosom. A lot of people could not feed their children again here in Nigeria. Bosom. A lot of people could not fuel their cars again and make their car again. Bosom. A lot of people will not eat food again for this government. Prosperity in Nigeria is not genuine. That's the reason why the masses are suffering. More they are dying, more politicians are going higher. Prosperity in Nigeria is all about evil. Homo Biafra, Homo Juku Wabiama. We are entitled to fight this evil. Let's come together and support our supreme leader and crumble this evil. Go Nigeria. Be patient, my love. Be patient, never.
All right, that was our friend. I don't know what happened to this guy. He's not called the station for a while. The musician. All right, call me whatever you can, please, because I get worried when I don't hear from some people that I'm expecting to hear from. I don't know if anything has happened to you because you live in a crazy world out there in the zoo. These people can do just about anything. They are confused people, and when people are confused, believe me, they have become very, very irrational. They are not thinking anymore. The courts are dismissing cases left, right, and center, and they keep on going to court, and they keep on being embarrassed. And then they have the so-called president, the man that they call their president, the impostor, because we know Buhari died. Everybody knows that. You might not be able to say it, be bold enough to say anything like that, but you know something, we know the truth. They are jumping from charge to charge to charge. We are saying every day on Radio Biafra that the man called Buhari is dead. We know, our leader knows that. He said it. Why you are not putting it in the charge when you had the opportunity to charge? Because all you do now is just be fooling yourself. Every court, Binta Nyako said, you know something, I don't want to deal with this. Yeah, so you just go ahead and take it wherever you want to take it. For my court, no. I have no jurisdiction anymore because the appeal court have said it, and it stands. And you are there jumping up. The most interesting thing about this whole thing is that when somebody wants to be a fool, he will give people the tool to make him the biggest fool on earth. The man that they call himself Malami, the Fulani man that went to law school, wasted his anyway, I don't even know because it's a quota system thing. He went in there, he came out, and then look at him. Even if somebody pushing him around, they come a time he tells somebody, say, you know something, let me take care of this problem, and then come out boldly and say what you have to say. If you can't handle it, just throw in your resignation paper. It's a very noble way of getting away from embarrassment, rather than keep on embarrassing yourself, running from court to court. The world is watching you. Nnamdi Kanu started like, they used to describe him as somebody broadcasting from a tiny apartment in London. Today, where is he broadcasting? He is up there. He's at the tip of the pyramid. And there's nothing you can do about it except to bow down to it. The more you want to fight it, the more you get yourself embarrassed. And the embarrassment will never stop. Until you know that what we are doing, what our leader is doing, what we are following him is divinely ordained. This job has to be done by somebody, and Chukwu Okike Abiyama has taken him to do this job for him, for his people, to be able to get us free. Let's listen to this.
By their actions and body movement is showing.
I want to start this from the top.
What message do you think the federal government, in your interpretation right now, what message do you think the federal government is really sending to the public? And you talked about politics being brought into this.
Yes.
Will you kindly elucidate on how this matter has really brought, or how politics has been brought into this matter of Nnamdi Kanu being freed and acquitted?
Yes, what I am afraid is that the federal government, by their actions since the judgment of the Court of Appeal, by their actions and body movement, is showing that they are intransigent and recalcitrant to obeying court orders. The first thing they would have done is free. Discharge means freedom. Acquitted means every other subsisting charges concerning this is closed. But they say free him first. Let him attend to the other ones as a free man. So not to free him means that ad initio they have something beyond the charges they filed against him in the gave the federal government 6 months to release Nnamdi Kanu. It is there. And so when federal government will now begin to give other interpretation as if acquittal is heavier than discharge. I mean, you now see politics coming in. Discharge. Oh, because acquittal is not there. What is acquittal? So they should handle so that it will not stir up. You know, so many people still think that this country is highly balkanized. So many people are keeping it to their chest that, look, this country is being controlled by a section of it. For we in the Niger Delta, we look at the map. If you take the map of Nigeria, Niger Delta very small, carrying the weight of the whole country on their head, and no one cares. So they should look seriously so that this issue will not be another issue that will bring trouble to Nigeria.
Talking about
Yeah, so this is the truth, and we have been saying it, and we know what the problem is. That problem is something that has been said over and over and over, and nobody wants to pay attention to it. This is it. Listen to this. Just listen to what I am trying to tell you is that we keep on playing this issue over and over until people will one day listen to what we are saying. This is Radio Biafra. We don't play around.
Right here.
Listen to this.
I will just invite you, please go online straight away and go to wikipedia.org, Wikipedia, and type into the search engine Abuja Declaration 1989. And this information will come up. Islam in Africa held a conference in Abuja in 1989. At the end of it, they issued a declaration, and it goes to eradicate in all its forms and ramifications all non-Muslim religions in member nations. Such religions shall include Christianity. Now please note that word. To eradicate in all its forms and ramifications. Now Nigeria is a member nation. All non-Muslim religions, such religions shall include Christianity. The word Christianity in the communique was underlined. To ensure only Muslims are elected to all political posts of member nations, to ensure the appointment of only Muslims into strategic national and international posts of member nations, to ensure the ultimate replacement of all Western forms of legal and judicial systems with the Sharia. Then to make sure that this strategy works, because it's going to require money. Babangida, as the self-appointed president of Nigeria, put his hand into the treasury of Nigeria, took $21 billion out and gave it to OIC, to the Islamic Development Fund of OIC, and said, take this money for the total, I'm quoting, for the total Islamization of Nigeria in particular and Africa in general. Babangida paid $21 billion of our money to turn Nigeria into an Islamic nation. And they have started. Boko Haram, don't look at it as something that is isolated to the northeast. It is meant to cover the entire nation until Christianity is eradicated in all its forms and ramifications. There are two ideologies inside the Nigerian constitution. Let me show you something. Sharia is mentioned in your constitution 73 times. Islam 28 times. Grand Qadi No single mention of church in the Nigerian constitution. Now I ask you, sir, I ask you, ma, is your country an Islamic state, a Christian state, or a secular state? Which one is Nigeria?
All right, that's the question that we ask. And you know something? The mastermind of all this is the British. They didn't start today. When they created the supermarket that they call Royal Niger Company, this has been the plan. And we are still going through the same damn old thing for how many years? The problem of Nigeria didn't start today. It started with them. They have planned it from the beginning. Even Oga Akadime, when they were still pregnant of creating this thing they call the zoo, the British people were in the forefront. Today, they are still there. That is why I get worried when people come in and say, oh, PWB this, PWB started on those people's land. The same people are coming in. They have not given up. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a journalist either. But I know that if you go deep into what is going on, you discover that the British people are the one financing what he's doing. I mean, we are not stupid. You want to go back to the same thing that your ancestors, your grandfathers went through? And this young generation that are coming out, oh, we are going to take over our nation. What nation? You don't have no nation. There's something called Nigeria. The likes of Awolowo said it. Geographical expression. That's what he called it. It's only our Nnamdi who didn't even say it that way. Obafemi Awolowo said Nigeria is not a country, it's just a geographical expression. You know what that means? Into two. They did not start today. Let me bring this interview that is very interesting. Interviewing, I think, I don't know this man's Harold Smith used to be one of the people that worked in Nigeria in those days. I want you to listen to this very, very attentively. Just listen.
We look forward to speaking to an African television station for decades. This is something we have looked forward to for such a long time, and we are so happy to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Harold Smith was a young, bright, and principled Oxford University graduate who was recruited by the Colonial Office and posted to Nigeria. He took his final examination a year ahead of his class. He also married Mrs. Carol Smith, whom he met while they were both at Oxford University. Together they went to Nigeria, where they had their 2 children. Mr. Harold Smith, you were featured in a program recently by BBC Radio 4, titled Document, and that was hosted by Mr. Mike Thompson.
Yeah.
You are alleged that the British government rigged the first and most important election in the history of Nigeria in 1959 in favor of the North. Am I correct?
Yes.
How long were you in Nigeria for?
From 1955 to 1960. And we were based in Lagos. I was on the staff of the Department of Labour. I was largely occupied with employment problems, all the employment exchanges, and statistics, and international reports, and was kept pretty busy. I was also stationed in Lagos in charge of the capital and the port. I was the port labour officer as well, and I also devised a port labour scheme and later a social security scheme, which was one of the first in Africa, which guaranteed workers some income after they'd finished work. It was a providence scheme. As I say, it was called the National Providence Scheme, and I was very proud to have put that on the statute book.
I was going to ask you what your role is. You've mentioned 3 important. Is there any particular name given to your office while you were there?
Just labour officer.
I was a labour officer, a senior civil servant.
Okay.
I only intended to stay in Lagos initially. they were determined that I should stay in the civil service after my 2 tours. And I was offered very considerable incentives, including a knighthood, to stay and work for government. Primarily this was because I had access to state secrets. I learned, and the Governor-General himself confirmed this to me, that the elections were rigged, contrived. The intention was that the North should rule Nigeria.
Listening.
Even in '56, the Northern leaders were very proud and were saying, if they couldn't run Nigeria, never mind elections, they might not join Nigeria, they might leave. And we all thought, well, how would they survive? There were no industries, there's not a great deal of agriculture, some groundnuts in the north. This wasn't very practical at all. And then it was, the Governor-General seemed to be thinking that the North couldn't, even if it won an election, rule Nigeria by itself. The South wouldn't stand for that. So there had to be a partner, either the Igbos in the east or the Yoruba in the west, to team up with the North. What he didn't want was for the 2 southern parties, the Igbo and the Yoruba, to team up to form the government, because he believed the North wouldn't tolerate that and talked about leaving the federation. So as I learned, in a small way at first, but very rapidly I learned about the election fixing, and as I say, this was confirmed to me by the Governor-General. He actually said that he wanted me to know the truth because he wanted me to know how much trouble I was in.
You mentioned statistics, you were collecting figures.
Yes.
Is that for labor and unemployed people only or general?
Primarily, but obviously my interest was in the population
Of Nigeria?
Yes, and Awolowo, the Yoruba leader of the action group,
Yep.
and Chief Enaharo, they too, other people were saying, where are all these millions of people in the north? Where are they? We're going up there to campaign. We want to know, And you see all these, thousands of miles of not very developed countryside, and yet the northerners are claiming that their voting registration figures are larger than in the south, larger, far more people up there. Well, actually, if you went through the Igbo land, Enugu and that, you saw lots and lots of people. If you went to Ibadan, again, Ibadan teeming, with millions of people. But we didn't actually see many northerners, and obviously not many northerners at that time came to Lagos. So this did arouse suspicion. Now, the Europeans, not stupid, we're watching what's going on in Nigeria, and we too are beginning to feel there's something not quite right here, that maybe the elections are not going to be as straightforward as they're meant to be. Nigeria was being described as the showcase of democracy, and it was expected that the nationalist leaders would win through. But actually, when the election results were announced by the Governor-General, before the vote was even in, he didn't count for that, he didn't wait for that. I have to tell you, the British were counting the votes, and the British cannot be trusted. They look after their friends.
Listen to him.
Loyalty is the big thing for the British. And we were friends with the emirs of the north. We looked on people like Enaharo and Awolowo as rather dangerous people. They might even be communists. That's ridiculous, actually. They couldn't be communists in 1,000 years. But this was a sort of thing that was being said. And we were, Europeans, were getting a bit worried about all this. It wasn't quite the honest, straightforward election that we were hoping for.
Apart from Professor Anderson,
I didn't know. And I knew that the Governor-General had directed me to take all the office staff of the Ministry of Labour to help Chief Okoti Igbo in politicking in Warri. And this was most irregular, and I refused to do this. Having refused an order, I know what the drill is. You resign. I resign my post. That is the proper thing to do. What they did then was rather devious. They persuaded me to withdraw my resignation, and when I did, they sacked me.
Did you hear that?
It didn't go through. But
that's where they learned.
I thought it was a
Nigeria, yeah,
after I'd resigned and was prepared to leave the country. This was not very nice behaviour. They later withdrew this and said that I had been of some service to the state, and actually commended me for what I had done, and said I could leave Nigeria with splendid testimonials, and we shook hands on this. And this was done with the recognition of the Deputy Governor-General, Sir Ralph Grey. And then I left Nigeria the first time and took up a job as a personnel officer, a very big job, with the Esso refinery. And then government came after me, declared that I was a traitor, and I had betrayed the British people, ought to be imprisoned, and I lost that job. And then they came to me again and said it's all been a big mistake, dreadful mistake. I'm a jolly decent chap, Oxford chap, and they put me on a plane straight back to Nigeria, where I'd make up for the time I'd been away. There was a great deal of good work for me to do, and we fell for this. We shouldn't have gone back, but we did.
Now, if you recall what you said about the role of the Governor General and the attitude of the British government in particular, regarding the fear that Awolowo, Okutiebo, and the lot of them from the south are dangerous. Is there a particular reason? Why the fear from the British government? Is it that they don't want to release or relinquish Nigeria? They still want to control Nigeria?
They knew that the North would do as they said after independence. If it had any, the North would just, because it was their habit, they liked the British, whereas the nationalists were an unknown factor. Actually, when they took the flag down and hoisted the Nigerian flag, not one of the major nationalist politicians was there. They weren't even on the platform. This was incredible. These were the people who had sought independence. The people in the North didn't want independence. They didn't want the British to leave. So this was a farce. And for most Europeans who were very close and watching this, we were disgusted. We thought this really had been manipulated, this election. It was unworthy. It was unworthy of the British people, this. This was no honest, straightforward thing that you would expect Britain, the mother of parliaments, to do. This was cheap and low and criminal. And I opposed it. And I opposed it then, and I've opposed it ever since. And I'm telling you the truth. And I was warned, if I told you this state secret, my life could be forfeit.
Earlier on, you said the British government wanted the North in alliance with either of the southern region, either with the Yorubas or with the Igbos. But without which they
can't do it this
rule the country.
The problem was that Awolowo was a highly principled man.
Okay.
You didn't talk to Awolowo about squalid deals and fixing things. Awolowo was not that kind of person. If you read his books, this man was a world statesman. And his young lieutenant, Chief Enaharo, was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. However, they did do But they did have marketing boards, which were a kind of semi-nationalized industry. And they borrowed money from the marketing boards. But there was a suspicion that Dr. Azikiwe, who has formed his own bank, the African Continental Bank, was actually bankrupt. But he was borrowing very large sums of money from the marketing boards and not necessarily repaying the loans. We knew this. We had a great secret service. All the politicians' phones were tapped. All the politicians' mail was opened. Everything that any major politician did in Nigeria, we knew in hours. We watched. We knew all that was going on.
Are you saying, in essence, that Dr. Azikiwe took money?
He was blackmailed by the British to do our bidding. We told Dr. Azikiwe that he could go to prison if an inquiry was carried out into his bank and his financial circumstances. However, we would not want to be vindictive if Dr. Azikiwe was cooperative in helping forward the plans that we had made in the best interests of Nigeria. Dr. Azikiwe has nothing in common with the northern politicians. He loathed the northern politicians. But Dr. Azikiwe went north and did as he was told. And what he was promised was this. The real power, effective power, would be in the hands of the northern emirs. However, it would look great if the president was Dr. Azikiwe and he was given a field marshal's uniform and an admiral's uniform. He asked, please, could he have a row of medals? But they said, well, no, that was a bit difficult, to get the medals. So when the ambassadors started arriving, he was known to be asking people from foreign countries, perhaps they had a medal for his uniform. We thought this was terrible, but it was said that this happened. He was very vain. And for a time, he functioned as first the Governor General, and then when Nigeria became a republic, as the president. But he had no power. And when he did try to tell the army, he said, I'm the field marshal, the army has got to do this. They said, hey, you're just a ceremonial figure. You have no power. The Prime Minister, Balewa, gives us our orders. So there was a feeling then that there was going to be trouble. And then it was because the Awolowo and the Action Group had become the official opposition. What we British wondered, how could they win?
Of their boss. Do you know how much?
Yes. After listening to this is something for another special program that I'm going to run. These people, the British. I've never seen this kind of thing before. I am listening to this yesterday and I'm like, oh my God. I think I've heard it somewhere before, but yesterday was the day that I really sat down and listened to it completely. Let me take a call. Somebody's calling me. Let's see if we can answer. Caller, good morning. Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, veteran, good afternoon from here. This is Mazi Iyke from Chronicle from Poland, and I'm here with Mazi Iyke, one of our media heavyweight.
No problem.
Yeah, Mazi, there are clip I sent to you to play because what happened some time ago in Enugu when the Zoo army were dropping weapons and people started talking nonsense that we are carrying propaganda.
Yes.
But within weeks, things started happening and it's on now again. I think I sent you the two clip here. I'm speaking with you. Okay. I think I would love you to clip and the Mazi
is two different voice notes. I think the first voice note was sent by one of our and our watchdogs, our security men, about what's going on in Enugu State. But before he sent us these very voice notes, there was a brother of ours who lives in, I think, in Dubai. That was the second voice. You know, this guy have dreamed of something before and told me. But I'm somebody who don't believe in that dream. Somebody dream, I will tell you, oh, they are coming to do this. And what the guy told me happened exactly how he said it. On that very voice note he sent to me, he said it. He told me that he saw Fulani. That was, I think, some years back. He saw Fulani people at our place attacking both women, our people. But instead of the army to prevent them from doing this, the army were busy protecting these Fulani men. Then after this dream, I ignored him. And day before yesterday, the same guy called me that he dreamed again and he would like to discuss it with me because of my time. I didn't give him that much attention to it. Then today, this morning, the guy sent voice note. Okay, later I told the guy to please make it a voice note and send it to me, so I will listen. So this morning, I woke up with the guy's voice. The guy told me that he dreamt again that these people came with a fighter jet, trying to bombard our place. But before you know it, they shot down. Our people shot down the fighter jet, and the fire was all over the place. It's on the voice note, so I was just trying to explain what the voice note is all about. So, Mazi, if it's possible for you to play it, please.
Okay.
You can play it so our people will listen.
All right. I will do that. I will definitely do that.
Yeah, Mazi, thank you. And we still have to appreciate our media head, Mazi from and our comrade from Australia that did wonderfully well. Now, this is what we have come just to say. So let's continue, and our medias all over the world should look into this and continue to propagate it. So let this into every nook and cranny of the whole world. Yeah. And our people in Biafra land to be careful. And our brothers in Enugu, you people are doing wonderfully well. Some of you can call program now to confirm if we are lying about what is happening in Enugu, how they have been dropping since yesterday. Miles, we sign off here.
Right. Did you send the voice note on WhatsApp, right?
Yes, sir. Here we are talking. It's true.
Okay, I will take it through now. All right. Thank you very much. This is Radio Biafra. Let me go to the voice note and see what been sent in, because I never really had time to listen to it. Because the Australians were on today, so time is very, very limited. So let me go to WhatsApp and look for that voice note and come back to you. Stay tuned, don't go away.
Hey! Don Prince Victor! Ibowe Mado! Anyalwe Biafra deje no obia ije freedom na udo ka ị na-arịọ anya chọrọ ihe mkpofu ọbara n'elu anyị bụ ndị Biafra bụ ndị ji udo na-aga oge isi maka ilu ọma ka eju na ji aga n'elu ọ ga-adịkwara anyị na mma ise ụmụ Biafra tekere Biafra na-atago Igbo nwe mmadụ Igbo nwe mmadụ anatago ụmụ Biafra deje Biafra anatago Igbo nwe mmadụ anatago eji m egwu mekene chifu Nnamdi Kanu odogwu ga-adịrị mma onye eze na ọdụrụ gị mma ọkwa ndị solo gili n'ụwa akọrọ gị ogili lacha ọkwa osisi bụrụ tolo okwu anyị ma n'ọnọdụ ugo ọdụrụ na-egwe mma ọkwa okoko onye arụ nsogbu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu enyi m ka enyi anyị ga-azọgbu ndị iro enyi m ka enyi nsogbu enyi m ka enyi ụmụ Igbo niile tekene Igbo nwe mmadụ anasago ewo ọ jụwụla anyị Igbo nwe mmadụ anasago
onye nwere nke sizanye n'osisale onye nwere nke chukwu nye n'chukwu okike obiọma onye give God what belongs to him and give Caesar what belongs to him. As we seek for peace and humanity, it's not at all profanity. There are once people is killing each other. I wonder why my brother who go be a flag I join up forget in the middle forget in the middle
nsogbu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu ndị ile anyị na-enyi enyi m ka enyi fellow let my people go Biafra natago let my people Igbo nwe mmadụ anatago ndị ilo lọpụga n'anya aka n'ụọ Biafra natago Igbo nwe mmadụ nọ Igbo nwe mmadụ anatago ojude na-elapụ udene n'udene abụla mana anyị abụla ọnụ udene n'ụwa ihe ogogo I want to know something make una hear me Ibulu nwa Biafra na taba n'ụlọ make una come back ka anyị dozie n'obodo anyị Ibu pụta Igbo exporter na taba n'ụlọ ka anyị dozie n'obodo anyị ndị dị n'obodo anyị ebe ọtụ dịkwa na be anyị ship na-agbakwa na be anyị oyi dịkwa n'ala be anyị mmanya nkwụ dị na be anyị ihe niile dị mma ọ dịkwa n'ala be anyị nataba n'ụlọ ka anyị dozie n'obodo anyị ụmụ Igbo kọmpa ka anyị dozie n'obodo anyị otu ihe nwata weli aka elu aka fụwa yufu o wetu aka Jehova nke zọpụtara ụmụ Israel n'aka Fero bilie natara ya oke ruru anyị balie natara ya oke ruru anyị Chukwu bilie natara ya oke ruru anyị Biafra bụ nke anyị obodo ọma Biafra bụ nke anyị ala Chukwu tere mmanụ nsogbu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu ọnụ ha enyi m ka enyi anyị azọgbu ọnụ ndị elu enyi m ka enyi nsogbu enyi
All right, I'm trying to bring up